I trade spot and futures on BYDFi, and if you want to set up an account now, send me a message once you've created your account with your username and UID on Telegram, and I'll put you into a randomly selected prize draw. I've got $10, $20 and $50 gift cards to give out, which basically go against your trading fees, giving you free trading fees basically until the gift cards run out. BYDFi. Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's get started with a bit of overview on altcoin action, because it is the weekend, so we don't have traditional markets to worry about. Not that we even been thinking about them for a while now, have they really? Bitcoin, crypto's more or less just having its own time, which is good, that's what we like. So I'll just start off with the bullish case, and if you decide that you want to turn the video off before I flick to the bearish case, that's your deal. Why ruin your weekend with a taste of reality? Not that I think the bear case is significant, but it's definitely worth listening to, I'd say. Right, so we're looking at total 2 here. Market capping excluding Bitcoin actually looks quite good here on the 4 hourly. I just wanted to show you this first, right? So what we see is a nice uptrend. Not even touching the 200 exponential on the way up, breaking through the major support that's been going on for about 18 months. And since having this pullback, we've reclaimed all moving averages as of the last 3 candle bodies on the 4 hourly, which is good because we were doing the Patreon live stream last night, and at that time things were looking a little bit undecided, and even though it's not particularly convincing right now, the odds are in favor of further upside for altcoins. I can say that definitely, and the reason we're saying that is that obviously with candle bodies and price action being above a 20 moving average, it gives you a 65% more likelihood of staying above that portion of the Bollinger Band, to which we are. And not only that, but we're respecting them. So the last candle body closure respected, this candle body respected, so it's being respected. And actually more than that, at the moment we're trying to push above that 10 exponential, which should give us clearance above all moving averages, and hopefully at that point then go looking to move up further, which is great. Let's have a look at the momentum's still brewing up. This isn't anything to worry about. We had the bullish divergence around here which led to this move, and now we created a higher low, so that's good. So you should be looking for a higher high on this one based on the 4 hourly. So the 4 hourly looks encouraging. The daily also looks encouraging. You can see the wick into, again, neat and tidy. It's just respecting basically this 20 moving average. Perfect touch, front run touch. Every candle body closing above a 10 exponential moving average, which is great. Even this big dump that we saw here basically more or less closed above the 10. So this is all good stuff for what you'd expect to see a continuation of the uptrend. It looks like every dip is being bought here on altcoins. So we'll move our way over to not ICP, which is unbelievable actually, to be fair, to Ethereum, and we'll apply the same analysis on Ethereum really. So Ethereum, what's Ethereum doing? So not quite the same, is it? So closure below, above, below the 20 moving average on the 4 hourly. So Ethereum is lagging behind, right? It's not particularly strong, obviously. It's also not breaking down. So it's kind of living at a certain area, which makes me feel like it wants to pump. It just hasn't pumped yet. And this is why we talk about the alt season 2.0 and what it might, encompass. What does alt season 2.0 mean? And usually it would mean a much larger move on altcoins with more volume than the first portion, which is what we've already had. Almost 3 months now of altcoin pumps. If we're going to get any further, you would have expected Ethereum to pump. Ethereum has moved above resistance and tested it as support, as you saw that earlier on in the week. Very neat and tidy. So again, the charts are behaving appropriately, which is encouraging. They're just not, or should I say they are just not, some are, but they're just not roaring. They're not finding that last big push up. And for Ethereum, we kind of need to break above 2,400, which is basically, the first wick here, which was major resistance. I don't want to have to keep sticking lines in the chart. We talk about that all the time, and that is the resistance. So you break above 2,400, you're moving pretty much straight up to 3,000 for Ethereum, and then from 3,000 probably up another increment of about 400 or 500 at that point, really, maybe more. So that's a sizable move that's pending. And again, based on the daily, which is certainly better than the 4 hourly at the moment, it's respecting standard Bollinger Band strategy. Closed above, closed above, closed above, closed above, closed above, closed above. And the retests have been relatively neat, quite neat and tidy yesterday and today. So you would expect it to actually move up from here, but for the moment it hasn't started. It's not started. So with that, we just take ourselves back to the 4 hourly, and really we got validation and invalidation points. Really, we kind of need to really try to and close above the last major dumping candle, which is around 2,300, we'll call it. 4 hourly closures above there should spark the continuation. Now, looking at momentum, curling over, not weak, not strong. And if we did come back down to find a wick similar to the trend line, which is around 2,150, we've got 200 simple and exponential on the 4 hourly, around 2,125, which at this stage now, after the golden cross, hasn't even been tested yet. So a perfect retest of this would be once they've come to the trend line of significance here, this major horizontal, which goes back a couple of years, which has been obviously major support and major resistance throughout its history. So big, massive bounce and obviously quite clear and long-lasting rejection. So I like it. I do like it. Don't get me wrong. I do really like it. Now, this is all the bull case, obviously, and this is going to emphasize whatever the total 2 and the total 3 does, and recognize the total 2 looks better than Ethereum. It's actually better. So we got the overall vibe on altcoins is better than Ethereum on its own. So if Ethereum were to start moving up, then this chart would look really good. You could make the case, to be fair, there's Ethereum which is holding this chart down, which is something you wouldn't normally expect to see. So that's good. Ethereum, again, is not bad. Let's have a look at Bitcoin, because Bitcoin, you know what I'm going to say about Bitcoin. Which is basically, it's currently in the same vibe as Ethereum, trying to battle with this reclaiming of the Bollinger Band on the 4 hourly. Without dissecting it too much, it's basically the deal. My main issue is going to be this weekly, which it has been all along, and now what we're seeing is a curling over the money flow index, which is good. It's definitely good, but what it suggests is the last time we saw something like this after a nice big run was here. We got 2 drives, well, a single drive basically, of bearish divergence. Now the money flow index on the weekly does like to play on only a single drive. Bullish divergence here, 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's have a look at the reaction. So bullish divergence, 1. Marks the absolute low, vroom. Again, bullish divergence, 1, mark the absolute low, vroom. Let's have a look at the bearish divergence on this. We'll just extend this so we can see. So we had overheated read, bearish divergence, vroom, vroom, all the way down. So yeah, a single drive is as much as it takes, really. So that would suggest, even though I'm looking for the VUM, as I've explained it, the move down afterwards, it does suggest that the next move is going to be a big one, and it would be to the up. So even though we're looking for the bearish divergence to complete here on the weekly, probably marking a top or a significant peak for a prolonged period of time, we're still looking for another move up. And we've had this highlighted for a while. It's 48,000, and that's where I think that's going to be. And when we hit 48,000, I would expect a move down, probably a sharp one. You could call it a dump, you might call it a crash, or you could just call it the start of a consolidation. But whatever you want to call it, it's likely to affect the whole market. Now, I think that when that happens, you're still going to be able to buy dips for at least dead cat bounces across the board for altcoins, and it might move into an alt season 2.0. It might be an extension. It might be the start of a major rotation. That has happened in the past. But the difference between this rotation over here is that altcoins were basically not really moving up at all. In fact, they were moving down. And so their money flow indexes were basically wrecked city as low as they could go, and then when the rotation really kicked in, they rallied hard because no one had been buying them for at least 3 months. They'd just been going down. It was only Bitcoin that was moving up in this period and nothing else. Sweeping statement, but basically Bitcoin did 300% rally, and most altcoins were lucky to get 50%. Most of them, I have to say, because I was around at the time, stayed exactly perfectly still. I made it really good for bot trading, I can tell you that. It was a really good environment for bot trading. But for spot positions and holding, you had to be very, very patient because nothing happened until Bitcoin reached its peak. Now, it's slightly different here because obviously altcoins have been rallying for a long period of time. So if we do get a rotation, it would likely mark a blow off top quite quickly because they're overextended already. But it doesn't mean that it can't happen. So I'm not sold on either. Whether it be something similar to this or something similar to this, I don't know. But what I am saying is that I'm pretty much concerned about when we finally do hit here. I think the obvious thing would be to take profit across the board for the majority of my positions is what I'm going to do. Doesn't mean I'm going to sell everything. Obviously, I have a hodl bag. I've got quite a lot hodling. I've staking the hell out of it. That's fine. It's a different strategy altogether. But for any spot position that I've taken over the last few weeks, I will exit it around that level just through default, using Bitcoin as the main indicator because it's hit a certain area which is significant, with a significant read on the momentum down there, and it would mean probably best getting out and reassessing once we know more, which I think it seems way more likely than anything else that a rejection takes place here. And even if it's a rejection that comes back down to 38,000, that'd be a mega bounce around there. It would be a mega bounce, not just for Bitcoin but for everybody. So there's so much opportunity in this market, regardless of whether you're looking bullish or bearish. The main thing is to have a plan, and this is my plan. I have started with the bullish case, which is that altcoins total market looks great, does look good. I also say that Ethereum looks good and that Bitcoin looks like it wants to go up. So overall, that is the bullish case. The bearish case is also one that could be taken advantage of just from simple spot trading, but it does require caution as we approach and get to this level. We can wick higher, of course. That will inspire FOMO, I'm sure, from Captain Noobmaster, which will only emphasize the size of the drop as the order books basically explode and liquidity is rife for the picking. But it's patience which gives you the most returns, really. And that is the deal. That is my plan. And that's what I think we should all think about, having a plan. It doesn't have to be the same plan as me, but at least planning for something and not worrying about what it is when this happens and what am I going to do? Oh, I've got no plan. I've got no plan. What's happening? What am I going to do? That's no good. You've got to have a plan. And like I say, it doesn't have to be my plan. It can be your plan. But at least there's a plan in place, Because if you don't have a plan, you end up basically reacting emotionally, And that's no good. That is the last thing you want to do. Right, so long story short, I am bullish for the short term. It looks pretty sweet. Alt Season 2.0 pretty much looks ripe for the move. But what sort of move is it going to be? I don't know. But it should, just like even Bitcoin, should be up still from this particular area on obviously Bitcoin, Ethereum, and total market 2, and obviously 3. I imagine 3 probably looks better. I've not looked at it in a little while. We'll have a look at it just for fun. It's more or less, it's usually the same, but as we've recognised that Ethereum's holding it back, yeah, I mean, it is slightly better. Let's check the 4 hourly. Yeah, I mean, it's basically the same, but slightly better. So, altcoins get the green light from me. I'm quite happy to hold what it is that I've got in anticipation for further upside on altcoins, really. So yeah, we're still enjoying that alt season, believe it or not. Might not feel like it for the most part, but it certainly is. And again, those of you that watch this channel, obviously we've been enjoying the alt season for a long time now. We've had hundreds of % at this point now. And it's definitely a good Christmas. It's definitely it's a good Christmas. Right, I'll leave it with you there. Caution, although expectation of higher is definitely on the cards, more than on the cards. It's the most likely scenario at this point now. But we will be approaching, and we are approaching basically a significant portion of the market where you would definitely want to, count your chickens. It's definitely time to yeah, screw your head on and think about what the reality is that you're doing at this portion in the market. Right, I'll leave it with you there. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.